She got into the car thinking it was her ride. Within seconds, the doors locked, the windows wouldn't move, and the city lights began fading behind her. Trapped in the back seat, she fought and screamed, but no one could hear her. By morning, she would be found miles away, brutally murdered, and the man who took her had been circling all night, waiting.
There are no words to describe the immense pain his actions have caused our family and friends.
I pulled your car over because the match is a suspect. Get your hand in your pocket. What are you, crazy? Get over here. Hey, get over here. Go, we're running.
Columbia, South Carolina, a college town alive with energy, especially on Thursday nights. In the heart of it all is 5 Points, where students flood the streets, music spills from crowded bars, and the night feels endless. On March 28th, that energy was no different. It was loud, vibrant, and full of life. Among the crowd was 21-year-old Samantha Josephson, celebrating with friends after receiving incredible news. She had been accepted into law school. The night was meant to be a milestone, a memory she would carry forward into the next chapter of her life. But sometime after 2 a.m., that celebration quietly shifted. She was tired. While her friends continued the night, Samantha decided it was time to head home. She stepped outside alone, away from the noise, into the dimly lit street. Like millions of people do every day, she pulled out her phone and requested an Uber. The ride was confirmed. Everything seemed normal. As she waited, she stood near the curb, occasionally glancing at her phone. She spoke briefly with her boyfriend, passing time as cars moved in and out of the busy area. But in those small moments, something subtle and critical went wrong. Instead of walking toward the designated pickup spot, she unknowingly moved in the opposite direction. The real Uber driver searched for her, circling nearby streets, unable to locate his passenger. Eventually, after several failed attempts, he canceled the ride. Samantha never saw the cancellation. She kept waiting. Cars approached and left. At one point, she walked toward a vehicle, hesitated, then stepped back when it didn't feel right. She returned to her spot, scanning each car carefully, trying to match it with what she expected. Then, a black Chevy Impala appeared. It moved slowly through the area, almost blending into the night. Surveillance footage would later reveal something chilling. This car had been circling 5 Points for at least 15 minutes, passing through the same streets, not picking anyone up, not stopping, just circling like a predator. The car made a U-turn a short distance away and came back toward her. It pulled into a nearby lot, positioning itself just close enough. From Samantha's perspective, everything aligned. The color seemed right. The timing made sense. She looked toward the car and made a decision that would change everything. She got in, the door shut, and within seconds, the car pulled away. That was the last time Samantha Josephson was ever seen alive on camera. Inside the vehicle, the reality likely set in quickly. The route wasn't right. The driver wasn't responding as expected. Then came the moment of pure terror. The doors wouldn't open. The windows wouldn't go down. The child locks were engaged. She was trapped. What followed was a desperate fight for survival inside a confined space. Investigators would later find evidence of a violent struggle in the back seat. Samantha fought with everything she had. She kicked, pushed, and tried to escape. At one point, her foot pressed hard against the window, leaving behind a clear footprint, a chilling sign of her final attempts to break free. But there was no escape. Back in 5 Points, her friends assumed she had made it home safely. Hours passed without concern. It wasn't until the next morning, when Samantha failed to show up for work, something completely out of character, that panic began to take hold. Her phone was unresponsive. Her location had stopped updating. Something was wrong. Her friends retraced her steps, returning to the area and reviewing surveillance footage. When they saw her getting into that black car, everything changed. This was no longer a missing person. This was an abduction. Police were notified nearly 10 hours after she was last seen. By then, time had already slipped away. Officers issued a citywide alert for a black Chevy Impala, but without a license plate, the search was difficult. Still, investigators pushed forward. Then came the first break. Her debit card had been used multiple times at different locations. Surveillance footage showed a man attempting withdrawals, his identity partially concealed. Each attempt created a trail, one that investigators began to follow. At a Wendy's drive-thru, employees noticed something strange. A white sheet covered part of the back seat and headrest. At the time, it didn't seem significant, but it would soon become critical. Meanwhile, Samantha's parents were driving from New Jersey to South Carolina, desperate for answers. Hours into their journey, they received a call from police asking for their estimated arrival time. It was the second time they had been asked. That's when the fear truly set in. Something wasn't right. Then, in a remote area near New Zion, hunters made a horrifying discovery. Deep in a rural location, far from the city, they found a body. It was Samantha. The scene was brutal. She had suffered multiple stab wounds across her body, her face, arms, legs, and feet. The attack was frenzied, chaotic, and relentless. It was clear she had fought for her life until the very end. Her parents arrived soon after. Due to the severity of her injuries, identification was difficult, but deep down, they already knew their daughter was gone. Back in Columbia, the search for the black Impala intensified. Officers flooded the streets, determined to find the vehicle connected to the abduction. Every passing moment mattered. Then, in an unexpected turn, a patrol officer spotted it, just blocks away from where Samantha had been taken. It was nearly 2:30 a.m. The officer initiated a traffic stop. As he approached, something felt off. The driver appeared nervous. The seat was pushed far back. There was a strong smell of marijuana. When asked for identification, the man hesitated. Then suddenly, he ran. The chase was immediate. The suspect sprinted through the streets, trying to escape. Officers pursued, calling out his direction, closing in from multiple sides. Within minutes, he was caught.
All right, here's the deal, man. I pulled your car over because it matches the suspect. Get your hand in your pocket. What are you, crazy? Get over here. Hey, get over here! Go and run! Hey, I'm gonna release the dog! I can't, I was just gonna see if he'll stop. Bravo Mike wearing a gray sweatpants, gray sweatshirt.
I got him.
Inside the vehicle, officers began searching for evidence. In the front seat, a female passenger identified the driver as Nate. That name would soon become critical. Then came the discovery: a pink phone, a set of keys, items that didn't belong to the driver. Then they looked in the back seat. Blood. A large amount of blood. It covered the seats, the surfaces, the interior of the car. This was no longer just evidence. This was a crime scene. The suspect was identified as 24-year-old Nathaniel Rowland. During questioning, he denied everything. He claimed he had not been in 5 Points, said he had been at house parties, provided no verifiable details. But investigators were already connecting the dots. They discovered that Rowland had ties to the area where Samantha's body was found. They traced his movements through surveillance footage. And then, a key witness came forward: Maria Howard. She had been with Rowland after the murder. Her testimony revealed disturbing details. She described how he had been cleaning his car, wearing gloves, wiping down surfaces. At one point, she saw him holding a knife, one that appeared to have blood on it. When police searched her residence, they found critical evidence: the knife, blood-covered clothing, cleaning materials, all hidden in the trash. Investigators also found a black jacket with visible scratch marks, consistent with someone fighting back. Inside the car, forensic teams found one of the most haunting pieces of evidence: a footprint on the inside of the window. Samantha's footprint. Proof that she had fought. Proof that she had tried. As the case went to trial, the prosecution built its argument around the evidence. The defense focused on what wasn't there: No direct DNA linking Rowland to Samantha's body. No visible injuries on him. No clear footage showing his face inside the car during the abduction. But the evidence told a different story. The blood, the attempted transactions, the witness testimony, the physical evidence, the footprint, all of it pointed in one direction. After just over an hour of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. Guilty. Nathaniel Rowland was sentenced to life in prison, but for Samantha's family, the pain didn't end there. No sentence could undo what had been done. No verdict could bring her back. In the aftermath, they chose to turn tragedy into awareness. They launched a campaign built around a simple, powerful message. One question that could save lives. Before getting into any ride, before closing that door, ask the driver one question. What's my name? Because that one question might have changed everything. And now, it's a reminder the world will never forget.